Les jardins de Paris sont remplis de...
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are finally back from Paris and I'm so excited to share with you guys some of the highlights of our trip and all the things we did to have fun and some things that were a little bit scary. So let's get into it. First, I wanted to start by saying that this trip went so much better than I could have ever expected. It was our first trip where we've gone to Europe. It was just amazing. Our kids had the best time. And you know, sometimes we were doing things we didn't plan to do. Sometimes we kind of changed our schedule around per day according to if there were going to be longer lines on a certain day, and we realized that. One thing we didn't realize is that it's never good to go to the Louvre when the Palace of Versailles is closed, and it's never good to go to Versailles when the Louvre is closed, and I did not know that, and I made that mistake twice. We went to the Louvre on a Monday when Versailles is closed, and then we went to Versailles on Tuesday when the Louvre was closed, and the lines were astronomically long. I mean, it was insane. Thank goodness we got the Paris Museum Pass, and I'll be sharing more about that with you on a future video I'm going to do on tips for Paris. You get a pass for 2 days, 4 days, or 6 days, I believe it is. And kids are free in Paris. I don't know if that's all of France, but I know for all the museums in Paris, if you're under 18, you get in absolutely free. So don't get suckered into buying certain tickets and stuff or tour groups for them, because you know that they're going to get in free anyway. So we made sure to just get 2 adult passes for us. And we went to a very small museum to do that on our very first day. It's a private home that's near our hotel, and we went there and picked up our passes because there's no line. But we went to Sacre Coeur on the first day when we landed, and that was absolutely the highlight of our trip. I've just never felt so inspired and that close to God. I don't know what it was about that specific place, because we went to Notre Dame and a bunch of other places as well, but something about being there, it just overwhelmed me, and it was just such an amazing day to go up there. And we took the metro up from where our hotel was. It was only a few stops down to get up to Sacre Coeur, and we got off there, and the shopping was so inexpensive. I'm going to do a shopping video later, and I'll try to include little clips of things, and I'll show you guys souvenirs later too. But there were so many things to choose from, little music boxes and keychains and planner items, stickers, pins, cups. I got a mug there for, you know, under €5. So it was really a good deal. And that was like as soon as you get off the metro and you start going up the little street that leads up to the Sacre Coeur, there's just tons of shops. They had beautiful scarves for about €5. They had berets for €3. They had everything you could think of. And there's so much art around you there. It was really inspirational for the kids, because my kids are both pretty good artists, and they just love seeing so much artwork everywhere. And when you get up to Sacre Coeur, you go up all of these steps. So it's kind of like a little hill up a little cobblestone street. And I'll include some pictures for you guys here. Probably a whole separate video just on Sacre Coeur, but when you go up the little street, there's like a little carousel, and I mean, you really feel like you're in a movie. You know, really you are. It's your own personal life movie, but you get up there and you're just like so awe-inspired by the beauty of everything around you. April turned out to be absolutely beautiful for us. We didn't have rain the entire 9 days. We didn't have any kind of like super cold weather, and so many things were in bloom. You'll see in the pictures. It was just amazing. Now, right above Sacre Coeur, you are in the neighborhood of Montmartre, which is the artist district of Paris. And I don't know if you guys have checked me out on Instagram, but I put some little clips on there. The kids were so inspired by that as well. I mean, it was just amazing to watch all of these people doing their work right there on the street. It was so pretty. But inside Sacre Coeur, I mean, the architecture is absolutely stunning. And there were these people singing, and it literally sounded like angels. I've never heard anything like that in my life. And I'm going to include a short clip. I'm going to do a little bit more, like I said, on Sacre Coeur later, but I'm going to include a short clip of we were walking around so much because it's huge inside, and we decided to just sit on some little benches and just kind of, you know, meditate or pray. And I caught a glimpse of my daughter. She was on a bench next to us, and she was just staring up at this mural of Jesus, and I was like, it was just magical, and I'll share that with you now. Now you see what I'm saying? The people literally, I mean, that's not music I put in there. That's what it sounded like while we were inside of there. And so it was like you had stepped into some sort of alternate angelic universe. It was amazing. And then when we went up to Montmartre, we went to a bunch of little shops up there. We had our first crepe when we got there. Like every time we went somewhere, like donuts were filled with Nutella, crepes were filled with Nutella. In the morning at breakfast, they had little things of Nutella out everywhere for your pancakes and waffles. It's just so funny. We love Nutella already. We've been eating it for years here, and it was really delicious. My kids love that. In addition to that day that ended up being the highlight for me of our trip, we went to Notre Dame. My son was so excited about that. And one of the other highlights of our trip was after Notre Dame closed one night, they have a huge courtyard in front, and they had these fire dancers that were out there performing, like just street performers. It was free. It was amazing. Like, I'm going to do a whole video just on those performances. Paid to go see them easily. There was like 5 or 6 of them doing different routines with all these fire things and hula hoops and this awesome music they had going. It was just amazing. There's so much stuff going on in Paris. There's musicians everywhere you go. And there's artists everywhere you go, so that was just amazing to us. And when we went to Notre Dame, they were actually having a live organ performance. And I would recommend you guys get a guidebook, and I'll include a link of that as well, the one that we used. And I bought that for our son for Christmas. I bought him several guidebooks for Scotland, Ireland, because he loves travel and geography and stuff like that. So I bought him that before we even realized we were going to be going to Paris this year. And we used that so much. I mean, he kind of studied that for months before we ever went. So he was like, Mommy, I know that at 8 p.m. on Saturday nights, there's going to be a live organ performance. And we actually took a Seine River cruise from the Eiffel Tower that afternoon up to Notre Dame, and then we got off there. And then we just walked through the city and whatnot and found a little cafe to eat at. The Arc de Triomphe. I thought I was going to die in the staircase. I'm not really being dramatic. Like, I literally thought that I would not make it out of that staircase because it's 284 steps, which is fine. I can do stairs, no problem. But it's like in this spiral little stone staircase. I'll insert a picture. Once you start going up, you can't get out because you might have hundreds of people coming behind you. And I got vertigo about a third of the way up because you're just like, ooh, like this all the way up. And I was like, are you kidding me? What is happening? And then probably about 3/4 of the way up, my asthma started acting up. I swear somebody was smoking in that stairwell. I swear they were. But I just could not get my breath, and I was like, oh my God, how are they going to get me out of this freaking staircase if I pass out in the staircase? I've got to make it. So I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I made it up to the level where there's a gift shop. There's a few more levels to get to the very top, which I was able to do, but it wasn't just me. Like, you finally get out of this hole of this spiral staircase and you're just like about to pass out on the benches. And there were other people, even young kids, that were like, you know, about to die up there. I was thinking, are they gonna have to airlift me off the top of this thing? I wonder how many people have passed out up here in this, inside of the Arc de Triomphe, because it was absolutely insane. But it was worth it. I still say I would do it again. But there is an elevator. They don't tell you there's an elevator. And like my kids, once we got through the line, they just took off. And I thought, oh, it's fine. I'll just do the stairs. So I get up there and I tell my kids, Mommy's not going to make it. Just leave me behind. Like, I'm still congested now. I got a super bad case of bronchitis after that, which turned into a nasty sinus infection. Which is why I haven't been doing videos since I got back. Anyway, I did make it to the top and the views were absolutely stunning. I would highly recommend that. There were a lot of people there, and you know, I'm so grateful that we came home when we did. I mean, we literally came home a few days before the shooting that happened there at Champs-Elysees, and we were there constantly because our hotel was right near there. It could have easily been us that were involved in that shooting, and you know, could have been injured. And so we're just so grateful that we made it back. But you know, bad people are everywhere. It's not just there. I mean, it's everywhere you go these days. It's just by the grace of God that we didn't have any kind of problems like that while we were there. We did have a sketchy incident on the metro, and that was a little bit much because I was prepared that, you know, somebody might try to pickpocket us because Americans are known to be a target. I did dress differently because we went to Paris. We wore mostly black. My sneakers that I took were black and white Nikes, and you know, I saw so many girls there with my shoes on, so I fit really in with shoes. And the guy that looked like he was going to try to rob us, he was watching our shoes. It was so crazy because I've heard people say that, but he did. He looked at my husband's shoes, who also had on black and white Nikes. He looked at my shoes. He looked at my husband's shoes. He looked at me in my face, and he couldn't really figure us out. Like, he was looking at the chain I had on my purse, and my chain was really thick. And so there's no way you could cut it. That's why I bought that type of strap for my purse. And he was looking at a bracelet I forgot and left. It's not real. I mean, it's from Zales, but it's like cubic zirconia. But I had this bracelet on. I'm thinking, oh God, he thinks this thing is real. Like, you're going to rob me for this? You know, and my husband was watching him while he was watching us. And my husband has this look about him like, come on, try it. Like, I think that he thinks he's like Jason Bourne or something. Like, he's just waiting for his opportunity if they try to hurt his family. Like, and I'm thinking, if he tries to hurt us and my kids are here on this stupid train, I'm going to have to choke him with this chain on my purse. Like, I was like, you know, Southerners, we tend to be, we're trying to be Southern ladies, but we're very aggressive. We normally have weapons. We learned to shoot from an early age and stuff, so we don't have a problem wrangling with someone. I just looked him dead in his eye. And I was like, he was looking at my ring and looking at my husband's watch and looking at my purse. And I guess he figured, they don't look like somebody I really want to tangle with. But that guy was so sketchy. Then when he stopped looking like he was going to target us, he moved down a little bit and started looking at somebody else. And I thought, God, I hope he doesn't try to do something to those people, because I don't know that I could just stand by and let somebody get attacked. So I didn't really care to ride the metro that much after that. I feel safer just walking the streets and taking cabs, and it really wasn't that much more expensive. I think each metro ride was like €180 or something, and if you have to transfer, that could be several dollars. Well, like when we took a cab from our hotel to Eiffel Tower or to the Louvre, it was between $7 and $9 for all four of us. So really, we weren't saving that much more money by taking the metro. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to stop this video here. I'm going to do this in 2 separate parts. So part 2, I'm going to talk about some of the other things that we did while we were there. And I'm also going to show you guys some of the souvenirs that we picked up there in Paris. To end this with my favorite souvenir that my husband picked up for me in Paris. And we bought this the night after we left the Notre Dame, and we were just looking for a little cafe, and we went shopping on some little, you know, side streets, and there were these little shops. And these little music boxes are everywhere. It plays La Vie en Rose, which is one of my favorite songs anyway. But I just love music boxes. I collect them. And so I wanted to show you. It's just a little crank music box, but I love this. My favorite souvenir of the entire trip. And my daughter and I both kind of fight over like who's going to get to play it. And I played it every night before we went to sleep, and it just made us all smile. And so this is something that I just love. I love the little crank mechanism on this because it's just so easy, and you can slow it down if you want. or you could speed it up. And so that's pretty cool. I've never had a music box I could do that with. So anyway, that's my favorite thing that we got on the trip. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.